So I've reached the age where when I read the morning newspaper, I start to scan the obituaries. And I'm not quite sure what I'm looking for when I do that. I'm not sure if I'm looking for to see what the average age is as I'm getting closer to those ages, or just to see if there's someone I know. But this last week I saw an obituary that really struck me. It was from a young girl that had been devoured by cancer and died. And it was a girl that I'd coached. I'd coached her when she was U12 and maybe U14. And she was just this most amazing kid. She just had this unbridled passion when she played, and she ran with reckless abandon. And she just loved to run. It was almost like she just loved to run and have the wind blowing in her hair. It was just truly amazing. And as I read that, I began to weep thinking about that. And as I wept, I just kept thinking about, a young life just, that didn't get a chance to get old and to do some of the things that I've got to experience. And it made me really sad. But then I continued to read the obituary. And as I read that obituary, I realized what she had done. And she had lived a passionate life. She'd found love. She had explored. She had traveled around the world. She had finished a PhD. And she did a lot of this after she'd known she had this terrible cancer. And so she just lived life really, really large. And it's something that I think so neat. And in this times when we're so upset in the way our world is right now, it's pretty angry. And I just think, life's so fragile, and we have to make some better decisions than we are. We need to learn to forgive quickly and unconditionally. And we just need to start thinking about, what our legacy is going to be and what we're doing. My dad had a favorite baseball player, and his name was Satchel Paige. And Satchel Paige had pitched in the Negro Leagues for years and years and years and years, and had millions and millions of strikeouts and won countless games. And he didn't join the major leagues until he was 42. And once he joined the major leagues, he still was pretty effective, even at 42. And Satchel Paige, what I liked about Satchel is he had these crazy old sayings. For instance, hey, age is a question of mind over matter. If you don't mind, it doesn't matter. Or how old would you be if you didn't know how old you was? But one thing that he said that's attributed to him that I really, really like is he said these three things. He said, work like you don't need the money. And so that means just love what you do. Be passionate and love what you do. He said, love like you've never been hurt. And imagine that. Imagine if we could love and not worried about that we might be hurt at some point, and we could just open our hearts and love. And then finally, and this is one of my favorites, and I actually caught myself doing this in the kitchen the other day. I was making toast and getting my breakfast ready. And for me, that's making toast and pouring a little bit of milk on cereal. And I just started to dance around the kitchen. And he said, dance like no one's watching. So Martha, in her obituary, it said she lived life in color. I pray that you live life in color as well. That's all that's on my mind today. Thanks.